Hello everybody. Let's continue with our talks on planets and their effect on us. Today we'll talk of the planet of love, which is of course very much interesting to all people. Young, yes, even old, somewhere neglected, but it's a very important position for all. That's Venus, Shukra. This is the considered planet of love. But I must say that there is a very wrong feeling with people that Venus is the planet of amorous love or sensual love or romantic love, which is partly correct, not really correct. Venus was very powerful in Mira's horoscope, very powerful in Chaitanya Dev's horoscope. Chaitanya Dev's I 100% remember. So that, and he had tremendous love for Krishna. So any love which is of very high level, Venus has a very important role in it. Now, what does Venus really mean? How is the difference of Moon? Moon is pure emotions. Moon is just bondings, more relationships. And Venus, yes, it has both relationships with opposite sexes, sometimes just like that, or it's a planet of passion. It can be lower, less lust also, or highest love also. So keeping that in mind, let's take up Venus is planet of art, creativity also. So let's take up now, how does it affect and influence all of us? First, Venus we have discussed. Venus, when it is beautiful and high, it takes the emotions to very high level. Chaitanya Dev had a great Venus, Ramakrishna had a great Venus, second house, exalted Venus, and Venus can actually mean ability for greatest and highest relationships in a highest sense. Gopikas, I'm sure, must have had very strong Venus as Chaitanya Dev had, because but Chaitanya Dev's relationship with Krishna was definitely not moon type. It was more than more and deeper. So I'll come to that little later. So let's take up now Venus with various planets. Venus is now very close to Sun. Normally, it's never beyond 48 degrees. So it's very likely that Venus is with Sun often. But Venus with Sun can't be bad just by association. But when they are within 5 degrees of each other, then Sun dominates Venus strongly. Now, what does it mean exactly? Now, Sun with Venus would mean, if Sun is powerful and positive, Sun would mean that it's likely to be a woman or man, whoever, who will be very emotional or romantic whatsoever, but controlled by the power of Sun. Control the power of Sun means dignity, glory and brilliance. Venus with Sun is no doubt a very important relationship, but it's often in horoscopes. But when it is within 5 degrees, especially within 3 degrees, Sun rules Venus. Sun ruling Venus depends a lot on Sun's position also. If they are in a good position, the Sun's lordship and position matters quite a bit for Venus. This could be a woman or man who is emotionally very romantic but controlled by Sun, means if Sun represents husband or career or whatsoever in a very big way, could be means person who sacrifices her essence or his essence for that. So nothing to feel bad about it or something. Moon with Venus. Moon with Venus, if it is a very good placement, it can be very beautiful. It can mean a person with very high level, especially when this is aspected by Jupiter, because then it gives very high relationships and very high emotions. That means romance is your essence, and a romance can be with Lord also, like it can be divine romance also. It doesn't necessarily mean low romance, but it's normally always means highest romance. It can be between mother and son also, brother and sister also, anybody. It can be very high. Let's be very clear. Love is not purely physical between man and woman, it's much more. So in that case, Venus is likely to be very high level. And Venus with moon or strongly aspected a moon, it does flagrate, or flagrate is wrong word, it does flare up the emotions and love beautifully. But this is not always bad. This can mean love or emotions play a very important role in your life. But if it is controlled by Jupiter, is controlled by Sun, then this can also mean a very powerful personality which emerges very beautifully. Because Sun and Jupiter are two planets which normally indicate a high morality. So they are likely to be controlled by very high morality and emotions going to the highest level. So Sun, Venus, Moon can also be great combination. Now let's come to After moon, let's come to Mercury. Mercury with Venus is sign of a romantic person who is likely to be very talkative, or maybe somebody who's probably much more in romance in a purely talking ways, or somebody who just flirts around, but perhaps in no relationships in the real. I mean, what we mean by sexual, physical, whatsoever, unless Moon or Mars are too strong, because it's likely to be just a person who just makes lots of friends. It could also mean a great number of friends, nothing more than that. So let's not get carried away by Mercury, Venus also. Jupiter, Venus. Jupiter Venus is a very interesting combination. If Moon is good in the horoscope, it's likely to be a person, and if it's well placed in good positions, it's likely to be a person who is going to have lots and lots of morality of very highest level with the partner, whether it's man or woman, doesn't matter, could be very romantic and very beautiful. And this could mean, but there is a danger in it. If other planets are not strong, this person could surrender to the other person who may not be a top level. So if it is a top level, well, it's likely to be a relationship which is going to be, if I have to draw parallel, maybe something like Bharat Sri Ram's brother's relationship with Ramji, or maybe it's like Arjun's relationship with Krishna, with a powerful moon or Mars also. It can mean a great, beautiful, noble relationship, and is likely to be with a strong moon, the best and finest of all. And now we come to Mars with Venus. Mars with Venus depends a lot on how they are. If they are not aspected by Jupiter at all and is a badly placed, then there is a very strong likelihood the person is likely to visit lots of men, I'm sorry to say lots of women whatsoever, and is going to be big womanizer or man-eater, and in a lower sense. And is likely to be somebody who is never satisfied, who indulges in very low forms of sensuality. Don't want to elaborate on it. But if it is strongly aspected with Jupiter and beautifully placed this thing, it can be in a very intense, fiery, deepest relationship as Chaitanya Dev had. Or highest, no, and even Meera I'm sure must have had that. Highest and finest relationship with very ferocious intensity, Gopika like, is likely to have this relationship also. But remember, this relationship kind of fires up or adds fury to the emotions and romance in a big way. Now, fury to the romance can be purely physical. I've seen horoscopes where it's purely negative, where the person has visits, I mean, I'm sorry to say, has lots of relationship or purely lust type, nothing more than that. It can be lust of lowest level, or it can also mean a very high level. This thing, it intensifies the relationship. As I've always said, Mars is a planet of energy. So it can flare up. It has a power to flare up in a big way. So that's what Mars-Venus combination is. But before predicting anything, be very careful where is the position of Jupiter and Moon also. If Moon is very weak, then this relationship could be very negative. If Jupiter is very strong, then this may be greatly controlled and could evolve to the highest level also. But intensity is going to be very fiery, ferocious and very high level. Now let's come now to Saturn. Saturn with Venus, what is it likely to do? It could mean a person who has too many relationships, flits in, flits out, who at one time might be dating 4 or 5 women because he has no heart for anyone. If Moon is also not good. If Moon is also with them, is likely to be a person who just has lots of cold relationships, lots of women or men, but just goes on. And there's another very good chance, I've seen that also. Saturn Venus could mean a person who is cold, maybe handsome, smart person or attractive woman or whatsoever, but cold to relationships, not romantic at all. Somebody whose romance gets, because Saturn is a cold planet, so it can it can give a relationship where your romance or something gets rather cold. So Saturn with Venus is often not a great position together. Of course, I must add further, if it is strongly aspected with Jupiter and association of Moon, is likely to be much higher. If there is a powerful horoscope in Jupiter, is likely to be also likely to be a person who might just turn out to be a celibate, who may have no real relationships anywhere, who could just be very noble and high. But one thing you must also know, always remember, sorry, in astrology, no combination or this conjunction is terribly bad or terribly good. It becomes terribly bad or good by associations of degrees, how close they are, how far they are, and aspects. That plays a very important role. If you don't, know that, please educate yourself, self-educate yourself. In fact, one very good way of learning astrology is, or rather being aware of astrology is have some knowledge. It's like if you are getting a computer installed in your home, it's better to have some knowledge. Otherwise, the guy will come and just fleece you. That's what astrologers do because you have no knowledge of it. I just want that all of you should have some basic knowledge of astrology so that you don't get fleeced and fooled unnecessarily. So just because this combination is there, you get, that's what the astrologers do normally. They just, it's like a doctor, if you don't know what's the disease, he might just tell you, "Arey, ye to badi serious, it's a very serious problem, this, that." But you must have some idea. That's why they say consult one or two more. But in astrology, sad part is, it's rare to meet astrologers who will give you right information. Most of them themselves don't know and are just there to make money. Or second, they feel happy if the other person is ignorant because for them your ignorance is their bliss. So don't get carried away by this. Rather, just get basic knowledge of it. And if you still have queries, we can talk about it and discuss later. Then Saturn with Rahu. Venus with Rahu. We are talking Venus. Venus with Rahu is normally a bad relationship. It's a bad association because Rahu is kind of perverted Venus. Rahu, and if they are especially in Venus's house, in Libra, this combination can mean a person who has a good life, can have a good life physically, and maybe money comes through wrong means, and so they have a very long kind of life. This could mean, I'm sorry to say it, this could mean a person who could be terribly negative in relationship. But I must add further, it depends a lot on the position of Jupiter and Moon also. If Moon is weak, well, this will be, I don't want to say anything further, this could be negative. Jupiter is strong, this could be much controlled and much restrained. This could also mean a noble prosecutor, noble whatsoever. I don't like to use these words, but and if Venus is with Rahu is not a great combination anyway, but it depends on degrees. Again, I must say, if they are within 5 degrees of each other with no aspect to Jupiter, this is terrible. Especially 3-4 degrees is maximum. But and now with Venus with Ketu. Venus with Ketu gives a tendency to have just breakups with a lot of, maybe it's because Ketu is a headless planet, as we say. We don't even consider it a planet. So Ketu is headless. Because it's headless, so you may have headless relationships which are heading nowhere. So you may just flit in and flit out relationship with unnecessary miseries, where you find that you're gone for a wrong person and you just suffer. And you must remember one thing, Rahu and Ketu are planets, we call them nodes, but if you take Indian astrology, we consider it better planets. They are karma, they represent your karma. If your karma is very positive or very negative, their effects are positive in their own ways. But Rahu and Ketu are planets of previous karma. If they are very badly placed with any planet, they can destroy the essence of the planet or give it a different direction in a negative way. So this is something, that's why Jupiter-Rahu combination is considered to be Guru Chandalyo. Although it can be great also, but depends on many attitudes. But its effect is bound to be there. If they are very close to each other, its effect is bound to be there. But the effect can also mean a great intellectual or great thinker who is a rebel of different types. Let's forget that. We'll talk that later. So must know degrees association of planets means nothing. It also means how close they are. Association does mean, but not much. If they are 25 degrees away from each other, it's very likely that they will not be affecting each other very badly. But if they are within 10 degrees of each other, some effect. If they are within 3-4 degrees of each other, you must know. And also remember, degrees matter more than rashis. Like I'll tell you, a solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, I've seen sometimes. Sun is say in one rashi, say in Virgo, say is 23 degrees, and Rahu might be in, or say Sun is 3 degrees, and Rahu is say 21 or something. Then they have a solar eclipse. That although they are different rashis, Rahu in Libra and Sun in Virgo, so they should be no solar eclipse. But I have seen strong eclipses are declared when there is a degree difference is much less. Must know that difference of rashis does not take away the power of planets to influence each other. Within 5 degrees, they have maximum effect on each other. At 3 degrees, of course, highest. Suppose Sun is 9 degrees, and Jupiter says 2 degrees. Sun, that means Jupiter is under the influence of Sun. If say Sun is 2 degrees and Venus is 28 degrees, know that it will affect sun. Although you may say different Rashi, this is a wrong thing. I've checked it again and again and again. The solar eclipse or lunar eclipse have nothing to do with being in the same Rashi and everything as we often think. It is just that they are within 5-10 degrees of each other and different, that we'll discuss much later. So this we must understand the planetary association matters a lot. Only if it is within 3-4 degrees, 3 degrees, tremendous, terrific. If it is within 5 degrees, quite a lot, very greatly. If it is 25 degrees, it's likely to be almost negligible. And it's quite possible there will be no effect. So be very, very careful to know the degrees also of your planets. And Venus is a planet of tremendous love. But Venus also gives love to Krishna, for the highest love of Krishna. It says the Lord Krishna had moon and Venus together. Moon and Venus were terrific. Exalted moon and Venus. He was the greatest lover the mankind has ever known. And it always shows that. The moon Venus are very, very beautiful. And to associate lower emotions or lust or anything with Krishna is, as Vivekananda used to say, a sign of lowest mind. He used to say that if you want to understand the law of Krishna, first become a great brahmachari and know that always the greatest men of India, three of the greatest wise men of India, Adi Shankaracharya, Shukdev and Vivekananda, they all three thought that Gopika love for Krishna is highest and noblest, and it's even higher than Brahma Gyan. It's higher than all lok and everything. So to say that Krishna was pure and pure is terribly stupid. There's a small story I like to tell. Krishna was sitting with his, was in a Yamuna river bank with 8 of his wives, and they suddenly thought, this man, how can he be a great yogi or great thinker or great this thing as we think he is? How can he be really godlike? Because he had so many gopikas, we are 8 of us here. Krishna knew that, he was Lord. So then they said to Krishna, Lord, Swami, we have to cross the Yamuna, because across the Yamuna, Ved Vyasji is there, we want to meet the Guru. Ved Vyas was a great Guru. So Swami, then Krishna said, told Yamuna Maya, hey Yamuna Maya, oh Yamuna Maya, if I'm a brahmachari, if I have no relation with any woman whatsoever, give path. And they were shocked because Yamuna split and it created a road. And they all went walking with their fruits and other things, and they walked. And and when they walked, they went across, and then they actually gave lots of fruits, lots of things for Ved Vyasji, and they took his knowledge, everything, and after spending some time, they said, no, sir, we have to go back. Ved Vyas said, how did you cross? How did he cross the river? They said, Krishna has said this. Ved Vyas immediately knew that Krishna wants to give them a message. So he said, hey Yamuna Mai, and he had eaten a lot. He had eaten all the things they had given. Tons of, at least kilos and kilos of fruits and other things which they had brought for him. He said, hey Yamuna Maya, if I have eaten nothing, create path for them. And Yamuna Maya again split in two, and they crossed. They were stunned. Here brahmachari is a person who had too many women, and here is a person who has eaten in front of us only, and he is talking of, I have not eaten. They went to Krishna and asked him, Swami, please tell us, what was it we experienced? Then Krishna said, look, you may feel that I have had a lot of women, but I never wanted any woman. Those who love me, I received them. And there were various examples. I never had any passion or whatsoever. I simply had great response to great women. Rukmini wanted to marry me, so I married her. And so many examples he gave. Then they understood. And what about Ved Vyas? He said he didn't want it, he didn't eat out of hunger. He gave out of a love and affection, because he wanted to serve him. So that's why he also had eaten nothing. Any pleasure or anything is from senses. I never received any woman with senses and mind. And Ved Vyas also never received your food with senses and mind. So he said it very clearly that being a noble high person is very different. Like Chaitanya, his love for Krishna was highest as we know it. But that clearly meant that Chaitanya had acquired the status of deepest love of Venus and Mars with Krishna. If there was ferocious love, with very strong love because of Venus, and very, very powerful intensity because of Mars. And he was the greatest of all lovers. So that's what I think we must understand, that just because somebody relates Venus is strong or weak, don't get carried away by that. Must understand the essence. And I'm telling you, have some basic knowledge of astrology before you go to astrologers. It's like doctor. If you visit a doctor, have some knowledge of what kind of problem you could be having. If you visit a lawyer, have some idea what could your case be. Otherwise you'll be fleeced, you'll be fooled and everything. And most astrologers play on your ignorance is their bliss. Don't do that. Have some knowledge. You don't need to be an astrologer. You don't need to be a greatly learned person whatsoever. But get some basics correct. Like when they say, oh, Venus, Mars conjunction is very bad or whatever. See the degrees, see the aspects, see the other positions. And then you should ask the person to elaborate further. And you will often find, I've seen it many times, some of the very famous astrologers also, they mislead people and misguide people by their knowledge. Don't get carried away by that. I want your astrology to lead you to divinity. I want astrology to be a power, not a weakness. Have great power of astrology, great strength of astrology. Be a great achiever in your life. And may all of you be blessed by the love of Krishna, which will require a very strong Venus, no doubt. Without a powerful Venus, you will not get the love of Krishna or the Krishna-like love. May all of you be blessed. May all of you find the Gopika in you. And Gopika is not a female. Gopika is a male, female, any soul, which truly, deeply, beautifully pines for Krishna. And is beyond any physical lust or anything. It is divine lust. Divine need or divine lust, you can call it. I don't know how to define divine lust, but I'm sure we can discuss it some other time later. And please acquire the ability to get the real love and real greatness in your life. And my very best wishes, love to all of you. All the best to you.